We are missionary oblates of Mary Immaculate,
an international congregation of Roman Catholic priests and brothers.
There are over 4,000 oblates, bringing the good news of Jesus Christ to people in over 70 countries around the world.
Oblates from Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England are working with the poor in Brazil, South Africa, Australia, the Philippines and here at home.
Not just the materially poor, but the poor in spirit and those on the margins of society.
We are guided by the spirit of our founder, St. Eugene de Masnod, to preach the gospel to the poor.
When I've had the opportunity to meet oblates and to hear what they're saying, to hear how they're living, it's different experiences, it's different situations, but there's the same openness, that same joy, I would like to think, of the gospel, the joy that comes from believing in what you're about.
They work with the people. They don't stand at a distance. They don't stand behind the church or in the church. They're there working with the people. You know, I suppose most people's perceptions of priests is wearing cassocks or collars and standing in mass and saying mass. But the oblates, they're just ordinary individuals who have the religious faith in the background, but are there with the people, helping them.
They are very human. They are very open and they're ordinary men. And you see that side of them, and you see that humanity, and you see the personality, and you really actually get to know the person behind the collar, if you like.
I think what I see in the oblates are a group of men who are committed to making a difference in some way by being there as listening ear to people. They have that compassion.
There's something really different in a special way about the oblates, that they don't see themselves removed from the parishioners or from the community.
But there's something about the oblates that I think they have time for people, and everything they do is focused on people. It's not focused on the church as an abstract thing. It's focused on the people within it.
With the oblates, in parallel to the diocesan clergy, is their sense of community and their sense of being together and their care for one another. And I suppose it's something about belonging to a larger family and moving around a lot more.
They're one big family that work together, not to help themselves, but to help others.
They seem to just love giving up time and, you know, energy and effort to make little differences in people's lives.
It's about the oblates just being with the people in no great, audacious manner, but just being there for them and accompanying them in their troubles and in their sorrows and in their joys, just walking with them.
I'll describe them as people who want to get involved with anyone who they feel needs someone around them. The most important word there is care. People who actually care about other people.
They're not about boasting or saying what they actually do, but when you do begin to see what they do, it's unbelievable. It brings tears to your eyes.
They're a very caring organisation. They're involved with a lot of missionary work. They look after the poor, teach in the schools, and they comfort people and they look after them.
Serving the gospel as an oblate means serving the world, serving the church throughout the world, 70 countries. There is no limit to where they can serve. It depends on their gifts and their talents.
Our men in Brazil and other parts of the world making a huge difference to the lives of people, both at the material level, at the human level, at the spiritual level.
I've seen this in Miami, the way the oblates work among the people there. I've seen it in Tijuana, where the oblates are definitely a part of the lives of the people. And just to see how the oblates help build up the lives of the people.
They decide they will go to the remotest part of our country where it's hard to get to the people. Sometimes they have to go by boat. For example, we went out to a mission in the West and they probably only get a priest once in 6 months. And people probably have forgotten the order of the Mass, and you have to teach people over and over again to have the patience to actually work with people because you want them to hear the word of God.
They're like actually real people who like get down on your level, but are also like can be spiritual leaders too. I think that's the connection that you have to make, especially when dealing with young people. because they're not going to want to talk to someone who's way out there, holier than thou.
They're Christ in the world today in such a way that we see sort of the divinity of Christ through them and also the humanity of Christ through them.
The church has changed from it being the place where people come to on a Sunday for Eucharist to being an open community, an open house where people feel they can pop in during the day. So it's not just people coming in for Mass, but this would be a place where people feel welcome and wanted. And we provide quality service to the people in this community who may not necessarily want to go inside the church building, but would come into the New Life Centre. So it's outreach, I think.
I do have a particular passion for prisoners because it's something to do with the Imaginer's own experience of redemption. I suppose that's the message that I try to get over to the guys in here. That in actual fact, they could be like Eugene, and so they come before the cross and know that they're loved by God and forgiven.
Whatever way God works, it's not one-way traffic of the priest or the oblate evangelizing people, that in the whole process, in the whole journey, we are being evangelized just as much as we are evangelizing.
If you go to England, Ireland, Scotland, and you go into every one of the major cities in those places, into the guts of the city where the cops are scared to go, you'll find the oblates there. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of our guys around the world. I'm proud of where we are as a community. I'm proud of our work, and I enjoy the work.
One of the fundamental, I think, issues which everybody has to address is, what is the purpose of life? What am I doing here? So there is a value judgment about what can you do. And for me, it was, helping people get God. I think that's one of the best things you can spend your life at.
I would love to work among the young people and see how, if I can develop programs that would help them grow responsibly, and be able to withstand the different societal evils that have befallen really our world today. And if I can be part of that cause, then that will really be something.
That year after college, I really was saying, what is God calling me? In what way? In what direction? And there was one moment there, like, I am called to be a priest, and the oblates really fit.
We kind of hung around together, we prayed together, we went for a few beers together, and then ministry and friendship sort of flowed together. And I liked that. I just liked the ordinariness of it. And it spoke to me.
It's the quality of a person's life that's so important, rather than, if you like, their particular skills or qualifications or titles. And I recognise now more and more, if a young man wants to commit himself to the oblates as a brother, there is no shortage, there is no limit to what he can do, what he can contribute.
If you believe you're being called to a religious vocation as a brother or a priest,
come visit us, walk with us, as you discern where God is calling you.
Ours is not an easy life, but it's a great life. And it might just be the life for you.